Girls, welcome to my channel. My name is Jenny Penton, founder of Planner Perfect, and I coach women how to write a better story through the power of scripting. And in today's video, it's going to be the video of all videos. I'm going to show you exactly step by step, all in one video, about how to get started with the Planner Perfect method from stem to stern. This is your video. This is your go-to video. You're going to love it. Stay tuned. Okay girls, this video is going to be awesome for my girls that are they've been here for a while, and then we've got my new girls coming in. So it's good for a refresher, and it's good for someone new really wanting to get a good, find out what this scripting method is all about, because quite frankly, it is a little bit unique. It's something different to embark upon, and sometimes you just need a little bit of like, okay, how exactly do I get started on this? It operates a little bit differently. So I cannot wait to get started. Now, I'm going to be showing you some things as I talk. I'm going to be showing you, you know, how to get started from what is the scripting method. I'm going to break this up into different splices. And so, you know, we have what is the Planner Perfect method? Exactly. Like, what is scripting, and why you would even consider it. Why the planners are set up that way. And then we're gonna go into diving into the planner that you would get, and you'd open it up. And this is the monthly planners. And a great way to get started would be either you can just pick a planner, a monthly planner. You can customize it, put your name on it, put just the month on it, however you want to do it. And then once you get excited about it and you really see how it works in your life, because this is about results. It's about not just putting some stickers on and that's your hobby. This is, you are legit making progress in your life, and you're moving the needle on your life. You're making progress. You're going somewhere. You're actually getting rid of the things that aren't working. You're adding in things that are, you're fine-tuning your life. We'll get to that. So then you might want to get in on the box, the subscription box. So it gets to you just in time for you to start the next month, and you get everything you need to just really make it an inspiring vessel to work in to follow your dreams and goals. And so we will then go into even what are the tip-in cards? What are a great way to decorate it? How to set goals. And then we'll even go to the long-term goals. I'll show you a little bit about the 12-month options, and how that is a really great tool to have so that you can, you know, long-term plan and set some really long-term goals. Even how to use a journal that comes in the monthly box, how you could use that to your advantage, and just journaling. And then of course, how you could utilize maybe even another journal that you customize to keep all year round, where you can also put some really solid long-term, maybe business if you are starting up something, and also personal. So this is the video that's really going to, you know, I will be splicing it up, and you can go to that section. I'll try to write down the, you know, the chapters down below, so that if you want to go to a certain area, then you can do that too. So welcome to Planner Perfect, you guys. This is the boot camp for really changing your life, actually. I have always planned this way. And I'm a mom of 8, and I'm an artist, and I'm a homeschooling mom. And I know that I needed something other than squares to work in, because I had so many things that I needed to plan, and there just wasn't any room. And you know, I always think about how, like, even if you were to get a planner that really has things set up and mapped for you, like, so you can do it. I've tried that in my early 20s so many times, where I'll write down something because they prompt you to do it, and I never look at it again. I'm going to tell you the reasons why. I'm going to tell you the reason why things and plans don't work for you, why you write something down currently, and why you're not doing it. There's some brain hacks here. There's some reasons why. There's actually several reasons why there could be. And I'm really trying to put that all in one video. I know I've got all of the videos. I got tons of YouTube videos, but sometimes they can be hard to find. And I really wanted this to be the go-to one where you can say, okay, hey, how do I start the method? What is it? Let's go. And then, how do I set my goals? How do I write in my daily pages? And go through different concerns that some women have, such as, I don't know what to write, or, there's so much blank space, or I work outside the home, what do I do? Because a lot of women come because they are looking for more. They're looking for something that is actually going to be inspiring to them and carry them through. And this really is a method that will do just that. And make no mistake, you have to do the work, but the work is the method. And that's why it works, because you have to do the work in order to even get this planner moving and going. And believe me, once you get started and you really renew your mind to a new way of planning, change your thinking, change the way you are wired right now, and start to develop a new way of thinking about your life, you'll truly be writing that better story. So let's go ahead and get started and start off with the first one. What is the scripting method? Okay, so the scripting method, it goes back to when I really just learned about it through my mom. She never called it the scripting method. She never called it scripting. She never called it anything. I just would always see her writing in like a spiral 5-star. It was ugly, but there was nothing else out there. So she would just be writing all the time, just writing. And I remember one time in particular, after Christmas, when all the wrapping paper was all over the ground, and there was cinnamon rolls on the table, and she had some coffee in her hand, and she was writing in this 5-star again. I was like, Mom, what are you doing? I was a little bit older. I was probably, 10 or 11 or 12. And she said, oh, I'm dreaming about next Christmas and how I want it to look. And I really didn't think much about that, except I thought about it again as I became like 20, okay? And as I started to embark upon my life, I always loved the idea of planning. I wanted to plan. I wanted to keep my life organized, even as a young adult. And then so I remember I got a Franklin Covey or something. And I didn't like it. So I kept looking because it was just minute by minute planning then. And there's a lot more now, but then the squares just got a little bit more rectangular, give you a little bit more mapping that you can do, but not much. And then I became a mom, and then that was the game changer. I mean, where was I going to write how I was going to plan a birthday party? How was I going to meal plan? How was I going to really brain dump everything that I wanted to do? And so I developed my own planner, and I just did, and I wrote a blog and to talk all about it. And it was just basically where I was using loose leaf and some dividers, and I just drew everything in. I drew my calendar, I did all of it, and it was a lot, but it worked for me. It was exactly what I needed to be able to have room to write exactly what was on my mind, and dreaming big and doing things for my family that they deserved. I just felt like, if I'm gonna make dinner, I'm gonna make dinner, okay? I'm gonna bake, I'm gonna cook, I'm gonna take care of my home. I'm gonna take care of things, I'm the CEO of my home, and I took it on as that's what I'm gonna do. And I started the blog, and when I did that, that really lit me up, because it was another outlet. It was an outlet for me outside of my role as mom. And that's when I got the whole explosion in my head of like, moms need this. Moms need outlets. They need to have a place and a space that they're growing in something, and they're sharing with the world outside of, out of their motherhood. And so after I had 4 kids is when I began to begin Planner Perfect blog. And I would blog about how to plan your life, how to be organized. Even I did homeschooling. So I did all of that. Cooking, started up a meals blog. It was really just this homemaker's idea of how I took care of so many children and stayed sane and organized and while homeschooling them. And that's what I shared. And it was a lot of fun for me. I was like, here's a new recipe. I love this recipe. And it was just fun. And that's kind of then when I started, coaching women on really being able to say, hey, you know what? You really need to know your gifts and talents and use them. And you can use them at first just within your family. And I did that for the first, so many years when I had just the first 4 kids. I would draw. Now that was just my talent. Everyone has their own talents, and so you just use it, and you can use it to just gift your family with it. You know what I mean? And so I would, I'd paint my children's birthday invites. I would bake cakes that were artistic to show off my creativity. I would throw women's parties also in the neighborhood and draw and paint the covers of invites. Any opportunity I could have, I would use my talent. And another thing that I became really aware of, and God guide me. I mean, God orders your steps, and he definitely does, because I would pray and say, God, show me more about motherhood, because it feels like a broken record and I'm feeling a little bit drowning and I feel like I'm lost. And this is the different things that he really showed me. And so I would begin to bring out my paints again, like, and for me, I would do it for me. And that was really, really fulfilling. And I would begin to, and my children then began to see that I'm doing something outside of making them a meal or taking care of them or showing them how to read. And it was wonderful for them to see, because they could see that I am practicing what I preach, and that my children, I wanted them to know what they were good at, and I wanted them to also work on those things, because that's where God will take them and use them with those talents, and they can produce much fruit from that. And I because one of the great things about using your talents is that it really comes quite easy. And to develop it, it's fun because you're naturally good at it. And several of my kids would, I love to crochet, so I would crochet, and they would crochet. My boys would crochet. I mean, my girls would learn to hand sew. And it was just crafty, and it was hands-on, and then I had kids wanting to paint with me, and they would paint. And I've got, I would say, 3 artists for real. I don't know for sure, because I still have Blaine, who hasn't dabbled, but I have 3 of my children who really are artists, amazing artists. And I just think it's cool that they can kind of follow your lead and even kind of have the same talent as you do. So I think it's fun to be able to, not only fun, but I think it's imperative. I think it's important that you really seek out what you're good at and use it and do it in front of your children. So not only are they learning that using your talents and your God-given talents are a requirement for them, but they get to see it in action. So it's not even something you're teaching without doing. You're doing while you are teaching them about it. You're actually presenting them what it looks like. So I would have children on my back or whatever, and I would still do it. And I opened up an Etsy shop, and that's when I began to sell my art. And I found the Traveler's Notebook world, and I thought, I've got to do this. I have to plan in this. It was too classy, it was too gorgeous, and I just knew I would never get bored, because the leather was amazing, and it was compact and gorgeous, and I just knew it held 4 books. And I was like, how can I put my method in this book? And I just did monthly planners, and I planned that way and I painted my covers and sold them on Etsy. And it was a blessing, and it grew to what it is today. And of course, I've then developed my own Traveler's Notebooks, and it's growing and growing and growing. And when it comes to scripting, and so that's kind of a background of where it kind of came about, because I needed that space, I needed that room, and man, those monthly books, they're just gorgeous to look at. You never get bored. You've got a new book, fresh start every single month. It's not like, you know what I mean? It's like every month it's like, it's a fresh month. It's a fresh start. So even if like something like happened, or let's say you just want to, each one is moving the needle, each book. It's your story of your life. It's like a book. It is you writing a better story for your life. So what is scripting? Scripting is basically a long-handed version of really dissecting things you want to do and things you need to do and things that you really want to do, and you're writing it out in detail so that you know exactly what you want first off. And the second off, when you write it off long-handed, your brain lights up and remembers, okay? That's why when women just follow a to-do list, a lot of times it can be draining. A lot of times you don't get it done. You have to take along your planner wherever you go because you don't remember. There's a reason for that, and it's because, I could write little jots of things all day long, but unless I go back to look at that, I get so busy that I do not recall it. But if I take the time to write in my planner, I always do on a Sunday and I script the whole week, okay? And I'll do as much as I can, as far as I can. And then each night, and then I'll leave gaps, okay? And then I will go in and I will fill that gaps in. I'm gonna show you more a little bit about the how. But the scripting method is just a long-handed version. And you'd think that maybe, like, why would I go through that effort of like writing out, okay, I'm going to get up at 6 a.m., I'm going to do this, I'm going to have this coffee, or I'm going to have this tea, and I'm going to do this devotional, or I'm going to read this book. This is my time, I'm going to do this. Next, I'm going to be doing this, this, this. If you have children at home, it's how you start your routine. It's then going into your chores and how you want to do it. And sometimes each day looks really, really different. But your story is so full and alive, and it's your intentions and where you're going. And it deserves for you to take a really micro look at it to really see if you're going in the right direction, if it's where you really want to go. Are you doing things that you really want to do? Are you thriving, or are you surviving? This method really, when you start to write in longhand about what you want to do and have to do, it makes you take another look at it. Because try writing in longhand what you have to do when you really don't want to do it. It almost, like, your hand almost starts shaking. And that's giving you introspection. That's a time for introspection. It's like, do I have to do this? Okay, then I need to, and is it just for a season? Okay, then if it's for a season, then I will just change my mind and I will have a good attitude toward it. And that way things flow for me better. And I'm not sitting around grumpy during that time, or I will, whatever. And I know my mom, what she would do, which is really great advice, and I've done it all the time, is that when it came to deep clean day, of course she loves to clean, and I always thought she was nuts. She goes, I love scrubbing bathrooms. I'm like, you're weird. Okay. But that's what she loved. Okay. But still, even to get the motivation to get going on it and to do it, she would always write the day before, okay, tomorrow is my big deep clean day. She would always do it on one day. I think it was out of the month, and it was for a full day. It was like from morning until night. She didn't even cook or anything. She would always order pizza at the end of the day. And it was always, she'd get herself a new feather duster, some new fresh white dusting towels or towels. She'd get new, healthy cleaners. My mom was a granola before granola was even a thing, but she always just was, everything was just really healthy, and she just did everything really exquisite. Everything was always just, if you were going to do it, it was going to be done right, and it was going to be top of the line, and it was going to be exquisite. Or she just wouldn't do it, participate, or buy it. It was just, that was the way she lived her life. And I feel like I've carried that on, because it's just this quality of life that you hold yourself to. If you're going to do it, you're going to do it really well, and you're going to just blow it out of the water. You know what I mean? And I took that from her, and I appreciate it, because everything she does was beautiful. Beautiful. And she didn't do a whole lot, because everything that she did take care of and do was 120%. And when she'd write out her life, it was a book. It was what she was going to do when she woke up until she went to bed, and it was longhand. And today I'm going to go to the store, I'm going to get a feather duster. before I begin cleaning, or it was the day before, like today I'm gonna go get up all my new supplies. I wanna get a new feather duster. I wanna do this, before I dive into my cleaning tomorrow. I'm gonna put on, sometimes maybe one or two times I remember her putting on either a stew or spaghetti early in the morning, and then that was on. But she would write that out as well, like, hey, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna make sure everyone has something to eat by this time. And she would write it out in just detail. Scripting enables you to, the minute you start writing more than pick up the kids at 2, or the minute you start to think of or if you just do, something really just like a to-do, like call this or do this, I expound on it a little bit more. And even if I think of something and I go into my planner and I go to write it out, I write out detail so that I remember. If I go in there and say call, like I'm like, oh gosh, I gotta call this doctor for my daughter, then I'll go in there and say, I won't say just call this. I'll be like, call Dr. Archer because I wanna know what her lab results were because I never got them. Now my mind remembers. I'm telling you girls, when I wake up, I remember right when I'm up. But if I would have just slipped in there like, oh yeah, call Dr. Archer, yeah, I would have looked at it and I'm like, okay, it's not the right time. I can't yet. I've got to feed kids breakfast, or I've got to do this call or Zoom call or whatever. Then see, it just gets kind of lost in the shuffle and all of that. But when I write it in there, and I write it like in a slot that I know that it's achievable. So I'm like, okay, I know they're open at this time, so I'm gonna wait till this time. I'm gonna really gotta get this taken care of right away. And this is the why of why I'm doing it. So essentially you're writing down your why. Everything you're doing, you've got a why. And when you write down your why and you know your why, you do it, okay? And if you're not doing it and you're still writing longhand about it and you're really giving it you're giving it life when you give it detail. So you're not just gonna pick up your kids. You're gonna go pick up your kids and you're going to like, you know what? Today I'm gonna bring in my homemade cookies. You know what? I'm gonna make homemade cookies first. I'm gonna put them in little baggies, and when I pick them up, I'm gonna have that for them. Because when you think in advance and you start writing out your life, you get to see like a whole full picture. It's like you're in an aerial view. And you can see the day like you are not in it. So you're looking down on your day and you're like, okay, you know what? That would bless them. That would bless me. And I'm gonna do that. And even for their friends or something like that. Like everything you're doing has so much intention with it. There's no hurry, there's no scurry, there's no scramble, there's no cause you forgot. You're just always on top of it. Quite frankly, those are just the fruits. Actually, it just comes easy. It's the fruits of caring about your life enough that you'll think about it. And think about how you want to live and how you want to raise your children and how you want to create traditions, or how you want to create traditions with your grandchildren, or how you want to develop and keep that relationship with your husband well and tight, or your people close to you, what you can do. Or then you start to really be bringing into the equation, there's a lot of gap in my life. What do I want to do for me? What can I begin? What have I learned? What are my talents, and how can I serve the world? Because true fulfillment is giving and serving the world. That's true fulfillment. And that's why motherhood is just it's so enriching, because you're serving them. You're serving your family. You're taking care of your family. That's enriching. God's made us that way. I care for them. I love them. And that's just what follows that, is just that I care for them. Now, sometimes moms, they get themselves in a trap. I call it a trap. They don't even know that it happens or how to get out of it. But they get so into not that introspection. They don't take the time. And now, before you know it, they're on a hamster wheel. And they don't have time to think about things. They don't have time to go extra mile. Who cares about themselves? They're wearing something sloppy with no makeup because they're just surviving. And so that wouldn't even be on the radar to make cookies first. Are you nuts? I've got this to do. But I will say, being a mom of 8 who homeschooled, I did this. And it was because of the method. It was because I chose to take a real good look at my life. And if I didn't like where it was headed, I created the change. And I remember there was a really busy time even, and I would be scripting it out, and I would try to work with it. Like we always had soccer at 5. And I remember I just hated it. And my kids were halvesies about it anyways, you know. And sometimes we'd have to make them go. And I would make gourmet, I mean, literally gourmet sandwiches. Like I would bake the bread and then I would like make these wonderful cold cuts and then cut them into little things and then wrap them up and then gourmet chips and bring it in a picnic basket and go to the soccer games and lay out a blanket. And sometimes, you know, you just think like, this is just like not, this is like too much. You know, it's just too much. I'd rather have it be at home. And that's when I cut my kids off soccer and stuff during a season. And then, because they were in several different things, and I let them just pick one. So it was an introspection. It was like, okay, I'm going to flow with it. Don't like it. Don't like it. And I rearranged my life that fit, that worked, that made everybody happy. There was no stress involved. My husband didn't have to like hurry up and be back in time or meet me there. And then, you know, by the time you know it, it's bedtime. And I just always took a look at the broader scope. And then I narrow in once I've got that broader scope, and I begin to write down in detail how I'm going to map that out. To think that you're going to be able to live a fulfilling life with a list of to-dos is a pipe dream, in my opinion. I don't know how that could be sustainable, and you create magic, quite honestly. And I feel like the magic is within the knowing of who you are, where you're going, and what you want. That's above average and not mediocre. So you could live a mediocre life and get by, and you could, but there'd be no magic. And the magic is when you're really in the flow of what God has in line for you. When you're really tapped in to God and He just speaks to you, you know? And your steps are ordered, and you know, and you just feel like you get these ideas, and of how to really inspire others and help your family, be an encourager, to be all who you were created to be. And now that's the magic. To see your child after you've set the, you know, nothing is more amazing than, even if grandchildren, child, when you've made the time and you've written it out, so there was no stress involved, because you literally had to choreograph it so that you did have the time, or you moved it, or whatever, that you were able to make bread homemade, or you were able to make some meal or some really great thing from scratch and present it and say, this is, you're like putting your love out there. That is the fruits of your labor. It's something that you were doing to serve other people, and your family is the first one you're going to serve. And then you just branch out, you know? You just branch. God will use you and branch you further out and say, you know, you've been faithful with little, and now I'm going to level you up. And, you know, you've got leveling up to do. God never takes you from down here to up there automatically. You've got levels to go. And scripting helps you evaluate your life so that you can live your best life. You know, you don't want to live a capped life where you've got a ceiling, you know, like, well, I couldn't do that, or I don't feel well enough. Well, God wants you well. You know, or, you know, well, I'm not good at that. Well, what are you good at? So it's changing the way you think, because your thinking will ruin you. And as a woman thinketh, so is she. And so we have to really be careful about how we think. And so my whole thing here is that with scripting, you create magic. You create tradition. You create where your well-being is accounted for. You're caring for your relationships and you're intentional about them. You're caring for, birthday parties, and you have room. You are thinking about how you want to live. How do your evenings look? Or are you just not thinking about how your evenings look? Evenings are a great opportunity to accomplish a lot of things, depending on when or the season or whatever. There's different things that can be that you can create magic around. And all my other videos and YouTube videos, I share little bits and pieces about how that magic is and what you can do and all of that. So that's why I think this is the great first start one, because then this will show you like, okay, this is it. And then my other ones will be just a wonderful bonus, 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 bonus. Whereas this really gives you to the nitty gritty of how to begin and what to do. So those pages I made are blank for your daily pages for you to map a life that you love through scripting. And it's through taking the time to think about what you want to do. So that is the scripting. Because it's a good segue, if women work, number one, what I love to do, I have a video on that, and I can try to remember to put a card up here, but you can watch that video on working moms. But for working mothers outside of the home, you could do one side of your planner that's completely gratitude, and I love doing that, where you got journaling and gratitude going on, and the next page should be your morning routine and your evening routine, because you still have your morning and then you still have your evening. You're not at work, and that should be accounted for. That's your life. There are things that to be done, things to prep for, things to maybe even be thinking about what you want to do as a side gig for yourself, to use your, there's just so many possibilities. And so those things I would be writing, and I did, you'll see that in the video, that you could write, exactly how your morning going to be, so you can set yourself up for a really great morning, getting out the door, just feeling really good and going out the door, and then you've got your evening routine. So that's one way to do it. If you are an empty nester and you feel like, I don't know what to do, I don't really have anything to do, I encourage you to live a magical life and not ever just settle in and just not dream, because there's plenty to do. And I know my mom, and I've shared this before, she took up rowing, she took up singing, she began writing. She would write books and poems and get them published. She's in her 70s, and she wants to start up a tea room and make it local, and then branch out. She started a blog. It's just all of that. I mean, she ain't stopping anytime soon. And she writes and writes and writes about it. And yes, she uses my books and planners. So it's just something that, your planners should be full of your story, because it is your story. So scripting is a long-handed way, a long form of really breaking down everything that you want to do and have to do and dream of doing, and writing it long-handed in your planner. And and when you do that, you light up the brain to say you're serious and this is what you're going to do. And let me tell you something, it will change your life. So you're basically taking a to-do, and you could, if you want to even transition, you can have some to-dos on maybe one side of your planner. You could write it, and then you could start dissecting them over here. That's a good way to maybe transition. I really don't ever have to do that, ever. I just integrate my to-dos within the scope of my day. And it's written so much, and I break it off into what do I call it? Time frames. So I have my morning routine, my early morning, my late morning, that's on one side of the page, and I got my early afternoon and my late afternoon. And that is a phase. And so they've got breaks in it. So your eyes, when you go to just look at the beauty of your book and your story of what you've done, you can look over it in the morning before you begin your day. You'll see your eye really goes to those phases, and you're like, this day is going to be a beautiful day. It's going to be an absolutely beautiful day. You just keep going on your day. I mean, it's not like you got to carry it with you and say, okay, now what? You just know when you gravitate, and you just know what you're supposed to be doing. Even when it comes to your morning routine, as much as it's always something you feel you really got your brain, going in on, I still write mine out because it's my story. It's how I'm living, and to look back on that and how I cared for my home and what I found and deemed important matters. And I feel that within my mind, it fulfills it and brings me joy that it's organized. It's interesting, and that's why I do it. It's kind of because it fills my mind with the beauty of the day. It's not that I will remember all that. It's more than that. It's filling your mind with the right things that are lovely. It's what a beautiful day. This is the day the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. And my mom used to write that on the top of all of her pages. And whether you do so or not, if you write your pages, even if it's the mundane that you already have in your mind, you're on a remote pilot, you know, it doesn't matter. When you write it all out and you see your beautiful day, it is like filling your mind with joy, because you're doing beautiful things to serve and to do, and they're purposeful and they're joyful. And that is why I do it. It's why you would read scriptures in the morning, because you're filling your mind with the good. I will read over the same scriptures. I mean, I don't see anyone telling me, well, I don't know why you read that scripture. You already read that. You need to read it over and over and over and over again. I mean, it's these things that you're filling your mind, and the world is so full of cross contaminant. It's like there's so much in the world that can come in and just take you down if you don't have your mind right and filled with the things that bring you joy, and you know, and you're solid. And that's why you want to write your story and write it out and script it. It's just like your devotions or any other thing that you invest your time to fill up your mind with. You want to make sure that what you're filling your mind with, and you fill your mind when you write. Your mind takes note. When you read, it takes note, but it even is better if you write the scriptures, because then the action of writing helps light up that brain even more, so you can memorize it better. That's why you want to write everything you do down, long-handed. It's like, I love this day. I love what I'm doing. That's why you want to make sure when you do this, you'll make sure that what you're doing is good, because I can't even write down something I don't want to do. If I can change it, you better believe I'm going to change it, because I don't want to write down something in long detail that I already hate. Like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to do this. And then I'll scratch it. You know what I mean? But in a to-do list, no one thinks twice. Well, it's got to be done, you know, but you still never do it. So this is a part of how you take your life real seriously, and you start to begin to bring magic in your life, and you start to change the way that you think. This is when you fill up your mind with everything that you should be filling up your mind with, all things that are lovely. And you want to make sure that, like with everything that you do, that you're taking care of this mind and what you're filling it with. Filling up your day with the beauty of how you're going to live your life is filling it up and renewing it to beauty, to joy, to things that bring you joy. It's filling up your cup, and your mind starts to think of ways that you can nourish yourself. If you light a candle and you do this and that, and you're not just doing things to do things with this method. You're doing things to move the needle, to grow, to find the good in everything that you do. Whether it's cleaning a toilet, folding laundry, or writing a book. Everything you do has purpose behind it, and you have programmed your mind to that of joy. And that's why you take the time to write that down, because you're ahead of the game. Before the world comes in at you, you're ahead of the game. You know how you want to feel already. You know what you want to do already. You've written it down so thorough. It's a good day and it hadn't even started yet. I mean, your mind thinks it's already done. So your attitude's already adjusted to what you scripted. You literally, the brain's like, we're happy, this is joyful, this is what we love, this is amazing. And you see how you will be so successful in everything that you do? You're not going to just go throw some birthday party. You're going to throw a freaking birthday party. You're not going to just bake some cookies. You're going to bake some cookies, and you're to give them to people that you love. You're not going to just like hurry up, get home, do this and feed your family. You are going to actually map out the most amazing dinner that you can. Even if it's a quick naked spaghetti, you're going to make sure that it's done beautifully and with love. And this is how it's a beautiful life. My mom even has, her blog is called An Ideal Life. And it's true. You're creating an ideal life. by how you plan your life and how you script it is what you'll become. So be careful and fill your mind and your heart and your pages of your planning with exactly how you want to live. And sometimes women are at a point where they don't even know how they want to live. It's time to find out how you want to live, okay? And it takes finding out what you want. It takes some alone time. Get a comfy chair, sit for a while. What do I really want? Write it down. That's the fun part. Okay, now we're gonna go to the next phase, which is how to write goals. Okay, so when you're writing out your goals, I wanted you to have space to be able to write down goals for whatever those needs may be for that month. And I love this because you're gonna have to have goals every month to, again, be extra, to be magical, to move the needle, okay? Here are some ideas of what you can script in your goals section of your Planner Perfect planners, okay? Birthday parties, plenty of room to write down guests, theme, cake, gift, to how you want to decorate, okay? And when, okay? So when you are, you have also holidays. There's one every other month, it seems. You have room, so you can make it magical. You're not going to just bypass it and hope someone else throws the party. Maybe you could for once, or maybe you could bring something amazing. But there's room for you to do that. What if for the first time now that you've gotten into this method and you're just really lit up and you're just jazzed, I'm going to start writing my first book. I'm going to go ahead and start this blog. I'm going to start my meal blog that I've always wanted to do and share what I love. You write out all the details of what that looks like, how you're going to begin, and what you're going to do to make it happen. Okay? There's just so many more I can't. What about a bucket list for your kids if it's summertime? What could we do all summer? What about for your grandkids? What about relationships? Maybe you could set goals on those to make some changes. Maybe you want to start reading more. You could write down all your books there and your goals. What if you wanted to start something like a book club? You could write all the details there within your goal pages. It's a beautiful way to really brain dump all of the different ways that you can make things magical that are in your life for you and those that you love. So how do you break down these goals then into your daily pages? It's so easy. Once you take the time at the beginning of the month to write down all those details of all those different things that are going on in your month, you then have those details so solid that as you draw near to that special event, you want to scope back about a week, and you might even start plunking down different things that you need to do to have a successful event or a kickstart, whatever it may be. So if you're going to do like a child's party, maybe you could get a gift on a Monday. You could get the balloons on a Tuesday. Maybe you could do it all one time. Maybe you're going to bake the cake and freeze it. See, that's magic. Not going to just go run. No, there's nothing wrong with buying a cake. I'm talking about though, once you get into this kind of a method, you begin to become just extra. I mean, it's what you are. And you might as well just start wearing the new label. I'm extra, okay? Because that's what you'll find that you'll be. You'll be like, I'm doing it. Okay, so you bake the cake and you even freeze it so then you can frost it on the day. There's just different steps, so you're totally set. What if you wanted to start up a blog? Okay, well, what, how am I gonna start this? Do I have a laptop? Do I wanna use that? Do I have a desktop? What am I gonna do? What's the name of it? Blah, blah, blah. It's just, and then you can start writing on the dates that maybe you need to get some things or get some different things that you need before that day. So then you will start planning that, and the details are already written out. So now all you gotta do is kind of carry over to that daily page that leads up to that day. Today's the day that I'm gonna bake those cakes, get them cakes. I'm gonna do a vanilla cake. I'm going to wrap it after it cools. I'm gonna wrap it, freeze it, and you'll be putting that in your daily page that led up to that. So that is how you would write your goals, and then how you would carry that over, those well thought out goals, and how you would actually carry it out in your daily page. So you've got room to even script it a little bit within and interweave it within that day that leads up to the big day. So that is how you use the power of those goals for that month and carry it over. Okay? So that's how you would do that. Short, quick, and simple, but because I was really thorough with how to script, I think you guys would understand totally what I mean. To set goals, you're doing the same thing. You're just taking big chunks of things that you want to do within that month, really writing it through and thinking about it so that you have a successful kickstart, birthday party, holiday, whatever it may be that you want to begin, do, and start and be a part of, okay? And make something magical and how to serve, be, and do, okay? So let's move right on to the next, which is how to script in the daily pages. Okay, now this one, again, it's just kind of flowing right along from scripting to goals to your daily pages. When you see those blank pages, if you're very new, usually you're used to other planners that even have the day on there for you with a date. I leave it blank. Number one, sometimes things can come up. So maybe your Monday was a complete, you got to throw it in the trash. What if sometimes those kind of things do happen? You don't have to worry about it because it's a blank page, okay? Gotta put on lipstick. Then what you're gonna do is I just script, and what I did is I remember back in my, 15 years ago, I learned how to brush letter, and I just watched YouTube videos until I got it, okay? And I just learned, I got some tombos, and I would I would just be really creative each time. My books look different all the time. And I'll put the day of the week, and I do this in advance. Now, what I love to do is I love to honestly decorate my planner in one sitting before the month has even gotten here. And I really get in there and I start writing out all the days of the week, and I kind of get it in there. So you can do that, or you can wait each week and do it. So like on a Sunday, that's your day to plan for the week, and that's when you can kind of decorate it, make it nice, get your day of the week on there, and that's where you're gonna start at the top of the page. You can do it like I was saying, where you can do, you can do timestamps if you want. I just always found that if I did timestamps, if I don't need one other than, an appointment, which sometimes I do, and so then I'll just make sure that my life revolves, around it. So choreography is you're gonna get real good at it, because choreography goes along with scripting, because when you choreograph your day, you are also setting yourself up for success. If you don't choreograph your day and you kind of got your day just kind of hodgepodge, then if you don't know when you're going to do something, then you might as well just throw your day in the trash. Because if you, I'm always ahead of the game, where I know when I got to feed my kids. I know when my husband's going to come at me at this, or I know when I should get this done, even to make me feel good. I know I need to have my bed made and laundry started within this time, and that makes me feel like at my best. Or I'm going to go do this, or go walk, or whatever. I know what I need to do, and I'm going to choreograph that in, and then put my family around me. I'm going to make sure I take care of myself too. So I'm going to start from the beginning, and I go by, time frames, and this is my early morning. What does it look like? And, it's honestly what time I plan on getting up, what I plan to do with my time. Then it's, if I'm journaling, it's usually what I do. If you want to know what I'm doing, I actually quit coffee, and I'm really glad I did. But I am on iodine right now. So I say iodine and Jesus. I used to say coffee and Jesus. This is a big LOL. But I've been taking some iodine. It's really been a game changer. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to make sure I take my iodine in the morning, because you have to drink it. It's like a full glass of water. And then I do my Bible study. And I'm actually reading Andrew Womack, A Sure Foundation. So I am doing that study right now, and I'm absolutely loving it. And so I do that, and then my husband will come down, and so that's our time. So we love to chat before boys get up, and then he goes back to the office in our house, and then I go do my thing. And usually what I begin to do then is, and I write it all out in like complete detail. It's like, then I will go and then look in my emails and see what I got to do. I'll see what's going on, and then I will go into my I will do the kitchen, and then I will take out the dishes, get it ready, because I know boys are going to be hungry. And then I go upstairs, shower, And then that's when I do all my upstairs chores. So I will do my laundry, I'll make my bed, and I'll get my boys on their chores. And then we all go down and I make them breakfast. So it's kind of like that. That's like, but how I spoke it to you is exactly how I write it. And it's like, we're gonna get up, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do this. And now, not every day does it look the same. Sometimes I'll just totally be like, you know what, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna shower right away. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna do my Bible study at this time because I really want to get on top of this or something like that. Your day can look different. I mean, you know. And so it's just a matter of making sure it's full detail. So then I always make sure I got the meals in there. Like what's everyone eating? You know, if I don't have that going on, then I also fail. I mean, if I might as well scrap the day, honestly. If people are hungry and I'm not prepared, it's a bad day, okay? So I'm really, really, really on it 99% of the time. And sometimes I just don't give a frick. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't care what you guys eat, and I don't care if you DoorDash, I'm done. You know, sometimes I just have those days, and I'm sure we all do. So I always just make sure I know it's like, okay, I'm gonna make, you know, eggs and toast here, and then lunch, I'm doing this, and then dinner, I know exactly what I'm doing. And it's well thought out, and it's things that I know that I wanna do and feed them, okay? And that is how you script your life. And it's gonna take up and eat up some space because you are being thorough about your beautiful life, about how you're living and what you want to do. And don't forget to put in, and of course I put business within there. I put if I'm walking my dog or if I'm doing this or this, that's all interwoven within my day. When it comes to even my business and what I've got to do, I have a scope blocked out where I write down exactly what I'm doing and how I want to do it and when I want to do it, including like these videos and everything else that I do. So those are scripted in longhand, exactly how I plan on doing it and getting it done. Then I'll even plan out things that I'm doing with my boys or there's some of their lessons, and it's a packed day. And so it's got to be choreographed and it's got to be well thought out. And that is what the beauty of being able to write longhand with is, to really say, can I even fit this in? Does this even fit in? Because you could have a to-do list that's so huge. And then, you know, we just try because we might be go-getters, you know, we're trying to get all this done and we're just exhausted at the end of the day, when really we could have incrementally sprinkled them within our week. So then if I see that it's like, you know, this ain't gonna fit, so then I'll just like, you know what, I'm not gonna stress myself out. That's gonna stress me out. And I'm into being zen. So I've got to move that over, okay? And I'm like, you know what? That feels good right there. Yeah, I'm going to put that over on a Wednesday. I'm not going to do that today because that's just not going to happen. Something's going to fall through the cracks on that one. And I just want to set myself up for success. So by taking a real good look at your day, you're going to know whether or not you're going to succeed at it or not because you're writing it out longhand and you can see within the scope of your day if it's even going to fit. So it's just, you're being realistic. You're taking a real good overview look. You're like, this is working. That's not working. And that way you save yourself a lot of time. And then you find yourself thriving instead of surviving. That's the beauty of the Planner Perfect method in writing a better story through scripting. And that's how you do your daily pages, okay? And now we're gonna move on how to use the accessories such as tip-ins, stickers, and washi. So here I'm going to kind of show you some of what I do. And so tip-ins are amazing. So I love tip-ins because these cards that I have my artwork on them that correspond with the season and the planner that it comes in with the box, the subscription box. If you want to know more about our subscription box, you can check it out up here. They're really amazing and everything you need that coordinate all together to plan a beautiful life, okay? And so the tip-ins are just cards that I created with my art on them that you can write on the back of them. So you could write a scripture, you could write something that you really want to remember, something encouraging, inspiring, or you could even write something like a quick couple things you want to grab at the store that you could peel off and take with you and tuck in your purse. So it's something, or you could even use it as gift cards, so you can put them in a gift. You can punch them with a like a hole punch, and you could put twine and put it around a wine bottle and give it a gift to a girlfriend. All of that kind of fun stuff. So many uses, and I'm going to show you here that just how you can put the tip in with some washi right in the center. You don't have to use the center, but I love it. It kind of just works so perfectly there, and then you can easily flip it to see what's on the back side. So whether it's something you can just look at and you see you're encouraged by your thoughts to yourself, or something you want to remember about yourself, or something your kid said that made you laugh, I love it. And I always put that like on the back. Sometimes I've even been on my little mini jet printer thing. I will print off one of my pictures of like one of my kids or my grandkids, and I'll put that on the back of it, and then it just makes me smile. Or I'll just put it on my planner page. So that's also a really fun way to decorate your pages. Is a lot of times at the end of the day or something fun that happened that day, I'll print it off in a little square here, and I'll just peel, and I'll either stick it if I have a gap where I haven't written all over the page, and I'll just stick it in a little cute place. Or sometimes if it is, I will literally just kind of stick it and tip it also too within the seam to like, hey, this was our day. We went to the fall festival and ate apple donuts, and this is my grandbaby with apple donuts all over his face. It's that kind of fun stuff that just is your life, is your story, and you're documenting it. And you can tell by your planning pages if you are really living a blessed life. You know what I'm saying? And you're living that life that really God wants to give you. And so the washi, I mean, everybody knows about washi. Washi is a really great way to be able to decorate your pages. Most of mine is my artwork on my washi. Sometimes I do use graphic design or some script, but no matter what, it is designed to make you smile and go along with the theme of the planner and journal that comes with it. And so the washi, usually I like to put mine on the side. Sometimes I'll put it at the bottom. Sometimes I'll put it up at the top underneath where I've got the day of the week. I'll put it right underneath there. It's a really fun way. And what I love to do now is, honestly, I'll do my planner and my journal. I'll get it all set up for my journaling and for my planning, and I'll do it all at one time. And I'll just spend the whole evening one night, or I make a plan of it, what I'm gonna do. I get all my supplies, my scissors, and I make sure that I set it all up. I do all my brush lettering. It's just a really fun, beautiful time. And that way each day is ready for me when I open it up. And stickers, of course, those are to just lighten up your life with just beautiful stickers, perfectly placed. And I put those on even in advance as well. And sometimes if I have any left, which usually I don't, I use up my whole box, my subscription box at each time I go and set it up. I use all of the supplies, even the washi. I mean, I literally use it all because I'm doing my journal as well, which leads me next into how and to use your journal that comes in the subscription box. Okay, your journal, I have used mine in different phases and different ways, and I think that's fun and the beauty of having the planner and journal subscription box. Over the summertime, I usually love, and I don't know if I will do it this year, but I'm going to try, where we do journaling prompts. And so you put those in your planner, and then I will put them up in the fans group, actually, Facebook fans. I put up documents of what the prompts are, and it's 30 days. And then you just go in there and you do those and you journal about it and about each of those prompts within the journal, which makes a really fun way to use that journal. I right now am using it, as I did throughout the whole winter, in using my journal to document my healing journey, my food journey, my scriptures, my gratitude. I just love it. And even just putting tabs to mark, like, because it's kind of hodgepodgey for me, but I love it actually. It's like, you know what, I feel like I gotta write all of this gratitude, or I gotta feel about how great I feel today. And it's just like, I love then putting like maybe a little tab, or getting tabs that I find off Etsy or something. And then putting them there to like mark, like, hey, that's like the gratitude, or hey, that's like my food journal or whatever, or hey, this is something cute my kids did. And it's just really kind of brain dumping my days. It's how I'm feeling, how my journey's going, because there's just some health deals that I'm working with myself and my children, and I love writing it down and just watching how God's steps moves me and shows me, and just leaning on his word to know that what he wants for me is that I am healed. And so that's just, it's just absolutely amazing. And I meditate on that, and I'll write it all down. And then sometimes I'm writing like, you know, boy, I'm feeling really, really good. Ever since I stopped the caffeine here and I had a dead week, then I've had more energy than I have had in my whole life. And I'll be writing this down, and I've got this down, or how I'm feeling here, or how my children are doing, or what I need to pray for here, or what I need to do here. So your journal is actually any way you want to use your journal. But right now, especially in winter months, I've kind of been sketching in it, but I'll sketch, but mainly write. I've been kind of writing a lot in there and doing a lot of fun stuff in there, with just filling it up full of what's going on in my head and all of the wonderful things God is doing. And even if things are tough, I'll write that down so I can get it brained out. So if things are just going like, if I just got to get a good cry out, I will just write it all out. And then I love then to write down all of God's scriptures of how I am taken care of and how everything is really going to be okay. And that means, you know what? I don't need to worry about this. And I've brain dumped it. And Lord, I'm giving this to you. And then I just continue to keep on going with my life, knowing that God's got it. And then I can just continue to read that scripture and sow that word of God. And I just keep on going. And so, and of course, I just love writing about my family, my children, my husband, and all of that, and my pets. So I do all of that fun stuff in there and put in some pictures and tabs and all that kind of stuff. And it's a lot of fun. So that is really the scope of how you can get started. It's very, very simple, but I want it to be thorough so that you really, 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 really get it, and that you're like, you know what, this is gonna be, I can't wait to dive in, you know? Now the 12-month, I'm gonna just go and talk about this briefly. Let's talk about how you can use your 12-month to be an asset to your monthly planning. Okay, so the 12-month planner, you can just get any art print that you want from my store. This one is my absolute favorite that I love to use, but gosh, I love changing it up constantly. So the 12-month planner is really amazing because you can really dream in advance. So obviously you know that by now that with the subscription box is the monthly planner and journal. So what I always keep a 12-month in my planner. Actually, I keep my monthly planner, my journal, and then my 12-month, and then also my meal planner, which is my absolute everyday carry, my everyday go-tos. And then I have my business planner, which carries then my projects that I'm doing, my long-term goals, and I have what else do I have over there? I just have this other book because I change it up all of the time. But I have like different books in there in my business one. But the main thing I wanted to point out was with the 12-month planner, and that is that you can easily then go into your 12-month and say, okay, it's April now. Over in June, we want to set up this vacation time. I want to really map that out. I want to really get brain dump all my ideas for that now. Duh, of course you do. So go to your 12-month. There you have your calendar, and then you've got these blank pages after that calendar page. This is where you put family vacay 2023 with your destination, and you start mapping out exactly where you want to go, what places you want to look at, and maybe things you need to go and to take that you need before the trip. And so it's that place that's going to be gold for you to forward plan. And then as you draw closer, you can add more. And then when you get to that June date in your monthly planner, you simply transfer all that good stuff over to your monthly planner and get it all nailed out for exact dates and things like that on when you're going to go. And you could even transfer that to your goal pages in that month to really get it nailed down soon as you know on the dates that you're going, what you're going to need, and you do that. And then just like we talked about with goal planning, you would do the same for that trip, and you would just get that all transferred over to leading up to the big day for the big vacation day. So that's how you would make sure that you guys are going and you are just successful in your endeavors, and that everything's really going to go without a hitch, quite frankly. So that is the Planner Perfect method, ladies. That is how you can get started living your best life, writing a better story through the power of scripting. And I set up planners and journals and traveler's notebooks to make you feel inspired and just joyful about about these books that you hold in there of your life. Okay, so I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and I hope it's been helpful. Leave me a comment below if you have any questions that I haven't touched, and or let me know how you did love this video, and be sure to like and subscribe and even share if you feel led. Thanks for stopping by, and until next time.